Hey guys, welcome back. Sopwith Camel build continues. Try and make it as interesting as I possibly can. Fitting the panels, try and get this airframe sort of knocked on the head, and then we'll get onto some good stuff or some different plumbing, etc. Enjoy the video. Alrighty, come in this morning. Pulled the panels off this side. Made myself a template. This will sit over in there for my anchor nuts. Hopefully it works both sides. And I've just said in my last video, I think, just put a straight edge on here and just allowing the metal to sit where it wants to. Yeah, I've got a big gap under there. Not too concerned about that. I'm just going to fill it with that piece on the inside, and that'll give me the anchor nuts along the bottom. Another probably, well, there it is there. I use the same pitch. What's that, four anchor nuts, and it'll get self-tappers through the floorboard. What I did on this side, from memory, self-tappers here, self-tappers into the floorboard. It's only 7mm ply. Once again, I'm just on the test pieces. I've got my maple stain on the eucalyptus and a 3mm ply. That's 2 coats. Just going to get a good read on what I think I've decided. I think I'll try and match the struts. Why not? Although I may want it a bit darker. Got another coat to go. That's why I'm doing that. All right, on my eBay, I think it was $80 bender. Does a good job. Good enough for this. Only 600mm, so 2 foot. And I use my angle finder. Bent up this piece. Just sort of guessed. It needs to change angles from one end to the other, and that will, beautiful, go in there nicely. We'll fix that to the floor. As long as it is straight with this one, that'll be good. So I've made up my plate, doing the anchor nuts. This is the proper way to do anchor nuts, I guess, with the solid rivets. This turns out perfect. I haven't got a crimper, but I'm just putting it between 2 hammers, gadunka. Because I've got easy access, you can imagine the day might come when I replace those rivets if they give me any grief to solids. But and you end up, yeah, with a nice countersunk as well. So this one's almost ready for paint. Also on the bottom of the panel, I clamped a 1-inch tube to the bench and just gave the panel a bit of persuasion, so that tucks in nicely underneath now. This side will stay off. Have to put the other side on and do the same, do it all again. And then that'll allow me time to paint these pieces. So I'll get this one primed. I might stick some blue tack in the holes just to save any grief of paint going in there. And yeah, get those painted satin black. They'll be ready to fit tomorrow. Right, one beautiful panel. So where are we? I made another one, but it's identical. You clown. I needs to go that way. So let's do another one, make 3. It's like the equivalent of building 2 left wings, I guess. Flip it over, dude, flip it over. For those that ask, I'm using 6061. This is 0.8 of a mil. Right, I think I need to put the panels back on to do the top. So I've made my bracket, painted up. That's going to go right there and bolt on. I'm just going to mix The good old Hobby King 5-minute epoxy. Blob a bit on the screws because they're self-tappers, and that'll become the locking medium for those. Screw those on, and then I can put that panel on. And the bottoms in the side panel, touch wood, should be complete. And then we'll look at the top. Right, on. Solid as a rock, smooth. Done. Now to change the screws out for all the same size, -8s when they come in. When the cowl comes off, I've got some trimming. This fits, but probably just needs a pretty up. That can come off. Same on this side. What I'll do with final fit, I'll put a little cuff around here, some description, probably aluminium. Have to be mindful though, you can't rivet because the panel has to come off. I'm starting to second guess myself as to how many times I'm actually going to take these panels off. Yeah, I didn't think too much when I covered that because that's never going to come off. Is this panel never going to come off? I'm not sure. Anyway, it's removable. Now, I'm starting to think, do I actually need to attach it to the fuselage here? Does it need to actually attach? I mean, it's a 1916 Sopwith Camel after all. I'm starting to think now, I'll go back to the hardwood on the inside and I'll show you what I mean. Then I can just bring, I've got a scrap piece of veneer here. This is actually eucalyptus, beautiful stuff, 0.8 of a mil. That'll sit, you know, the right size piece. Then I can continue, just screws every inch if I have to get it to sit. Yeah, probably do 2 inch and then you can drop it down to 1 inch if needed. And then I can simply screw it to this panel. And the backing will be a 1/4 inch bit of plywood. Then it's going to be attached here. It'll have some stiffness. It doesn't matter if it wobbles a bit like this, does it? I don't think so. Is it overkill, bolting it solid to structure? Yeah, and having more of these type of screws through the thin veneer, which I'm not sort of liking. Also, what I'm thinking, I've got enough of this eucalyptus to cut 2 of those. I've stained up the eucalyptus over here and the plywood, so that's plywood and eucalyptus, which is what I'll end up with in the jarrah and maple. So it makes the wood look, you know, the same, from the same tree basically. Still not sure. However, another consideration, if I cut this, I want to put, I think you put a garden hose on first to give this some body. And that's just my wing going berserk. She wants to go flying already. And then this will go over the garden hose. But then I also need room for lacing. Up the back here I could potentially lace through and reach, I can reach the roof under the headrest, if that makes sense, up to here. Then as it comes around I'll do some lacing. What I'm trying to avoid is lace. I don't want to lace through this because then it's pointless because the panel won't come off. So I might add 1 inch to Mr. Potato Head That's probably just a matter of doing that, just to give me a bit more room. Then when I hop in, I'll see what it's, well, vision's going to be very obstructed anyway. Yeah, just my thoughts. So there is Jarrah, J-A-R-A-H, Jarrah. I like the darker colour. It's a little bit darker than the struts, I think. Or I've got maple. Maple's basically a match. Well, I think the maple's just a tad too orange for me. Let me set this up. Yes, the Jarrah. I think the maple. It's a bit too orange. Maple and Jarrah. Yeah, Jarrah's not quite right. Alright, forging ahead. Got this panel cut, which will go in there. I've wet it down, forced it around a tube, which will be that radius at the top. Let that dry. I think what I'll do is notch this out so this all sits. I've got like an 1/8 of an inch dag. If I notch that 1/8 of an inch, that can sit in there nicely, I do believe. Yeah, it's holding it out at the moment, so just a bit of, you know, quality control. I thought I had enough. Well, it looks like I've got enough, doesn't it, to do. Here's another piece of the soft cut. Boom. But the presentation side is this side, but I need that to be the outside with the grain going the right direction. So I sort of snookered myself there. I thought I'd have enough for two. I don't. So I need to order some plywood. This is beautiful eucalyptus. I think I said that before. I'm just going to wet that down again now that it's clamped. Well, sort of holding. And give that the weekend to dry. Just add a bit of steam. Why not? That is hot. But put the camera down so I don't bend it the wrong way. Now I just want to start off, guys, just a quick gripe of mine. Someone in their wisdom has decided to strip my, I think I've got 300 videos on YouTube, something like that. They've decided to take all those videos, copy them, put them on their own channel and profit from that. So if you're watching my videos, just make sure it says Scott Matthews up there or down there somewhere. Like and subscribe, I never really ask. Just to make sure you're watching me, the original dude. If you're watching and you're the one that's pirating all my videos, good luck to you. Alright, just pulled that out of the jig. Now I've got a nice rounded piece. I haven't offered this up yet, but that will go on there nicely. with little to no persuasion. Beautiful. Okay, we're getting somewhere. We are getting somewhere. Okay, working on my bolt-on. Just so happens the downpipe gutter clamps, whatever, from Bunnings, they'll fit on there, and then this part will bolt to the rear of my firewall. Once I work out the position, so I've got in and out, up and down, with one cleco already done, and these bolts will rust, no doubt. They've got that square head that locks into the hole, so I'll drill that out for aircraft hardware. Get these mounted. At the back, I'm thinking just a couple of L angles, so 20 by 20, which this isn't. Could just go underneath on each side. So if that was to slide down, then that's the fore and aft looked after, and then a cap will stop the up and down. Bear in mind, I can only access, once it's built, I can only access this side. I don't want to have to unscrew anything from the back. Alright, so if I find the centre, we'll call that 11 inches, centre to centre bolt on. And then if I make the muzzle of the bolt-ons about 11 inches, I've got a 7mm spacer, then they're parallel. Are they straight? I'll work that out off the centre of the cowl. Alright, a bit of a case of do whatever you have to do. This will hold my bolt on where I want it. Got my clamp. I guess I'm mainly looking at the moment at the height and in and out. There's not much else to look at there, is there? Might just back drill these now. Maybe I should just do one. I'll just drill one just to give me an out if I need to. When I clamp it down, I think the top clamp should just pull down. It shouldn't do too much to anything else. The back is a little bit different, so I've got them both. The fore and aft can change for the moment. It'll be determined by this lever, bit of ply here. But on the other side, there's a piece I put on. It's like the ejection port or something. Yeah, this guy here, which is 1/4 inch. So we're 1/4 inch off the outboard side. So I'll make this one 1/4 inch off the outboard side with this spacer. I measured the centres of the breech block, or whatever you want to call it, and then the barrels are pretty close. Then I've measured from the strut. I think it's 220 each side, thereabouts, plus or minus 5mm. And if I look from the back, pretty happy, I think. Got to start somewhere. Let's get them housed. We can sort of tweak it and shim it as required. Be nothing worse than sitting in the cockpit looking at crooked bolt-ons. How are we looking? We've got about 2 fingers there, 2 fingers there. I've measured that distance. The muzzles are same distance apart as these lines, those ready to bolt on there. I'll leave those removable rather than rivets in case the clamp breaks or whatever. This one here, the rivet didn't sort of come into play there, so I just got it out of the way. I'll put another bolt somewhere else. The other side was more centered. That's just my rivet spacing, which I didn't sort of concern myself too much with at the time. Now I think hopefully I don't headbutt myself. I probably should hop in this aeroplane more than I do. We'll have something like that, and then we've got a little bit of the cocking lever pokes out of the bolt-on, which is a bit of nice detail. Have the rubber cushion as well. I want it to look busy and compact, I guess. Cockpit gauges will be sort of tucked in under things. I can slip these forward if need be. They come forward about 4 inches if I really need to. Well, actually probably to here, so 3 inches. I might do that now, just have a look. It's probably, the less I have poking out past my mount, the better, I guess, for vibration. Although looks, I think they almost sit. Yeah, this is almost level with the cowl, end of the cowl. Beautiful. Okay, so the bolt-on's mounted. I just pulled the dashboard out quickly just to put a rebate in there. So now this sits perfectly flush. I think you call it a rebate. So if it's 1/8 inch thick, I'll put an 1/8 inch slot in the dash. Now this will sit nicely to allow this panel to sit flush. I know I'm not building a spaceship or a Formula One racer, but I do want things to be nice and flush. The reference material I've got, some of these look like chook sheds, I guess, when they're put together, but that's no excuse to do a crap job in my book. So we'll get it nice and neat. And besides that, it's all fun. So yeah, the bolt-ons are in. Cleaned up the cowl. I'm thinking it may be easier to allow without the cowl on, just have some overhang. Potentially even put the cowl on to give me a trim line, but we'll see how we go with that. Okay, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time, they say. So, done my rebate, hit the cardboard up. Rather than try and do all this in one piece, I've decided to break it up into 3 pieces. I want to get a nice joggle here. That's sort of camel idiosyncrasy, if you like. But it means I may have to extend this here. I'm not too sure. I might be able to just go very close to the edge with the anchor nuts and it'll be okay. Give me that sort of, well, with the wood underneath. Give me that sort of look is what I'm after. So that's enough to sort of work with because there's so many angles going on here. So I'm pretty happy with that. You see I just add tape and cut tape, do whatever I have to do. Transferred that to the material that's been supplied here. Seems fairly thick, but that's okay, that's probably good. If it's too challenging, I'll drop it down a size, I think. But we'll cut this out now. I'll cut that with a bandsaw. And I guess we start tin tapping. Okay, sometimes you just got to do what you got to do. So I've pinned on my initial rough cut piece, if you like. I like to give things a home. So now I can repeat it. It goes back on in the same spot, is what I'm getting at. Otherwise you chase your tail, you put it on and it fits, bend it, put it back on and it's in a slightly different spot. Now I need to work out, I think I'll roll this bit first at the top, roll that down, and then it probably needs a 45 to bend it down. We'll give that a try, just hope I don't wreck my piece of metal. Tap it in, just tap it in. Touch all, just a touch. Nice. Now all going to plan, we should be getting close. Ooh, baby. That is close enough for me. Tuck that down nicely. Beautiful. Actually, I need to pay attention. I've got a bit of ply or veneer to go in there, which may change the radius slightly. I'll check that. Okay. Supposedly, that's the easy bit done. Looking good. Tight and right. I think we look good in there, I think. I'll face the dashboard or the panel. This needs some stiffening. I need to tap that corner around. Now, I need to get this to fit under here, or sort of curve it. So I'm thinking a bend on a 45. You won't know if you don't go. Alright, just hand forming that over my bit of tube that I've screwed to the bench. Just sort of getting a bit of a roll on, hopefully. Probably should take the bolt off now, take that off. Yeah. All right, that is impressive day's work. Got that on. I was umming and ahhing at the front here, but it was right in front of me. What I can do is I just lift these tangs up and then I'll reinforce the back once I start doing the anchor nuts. Yeah, lift up those tabs and it saved me a bit of work. I got that down beautiful. It's all clecoed. That'll get anchor nuts. Obviously enough room for a screwdriver past the cabane. Probably just need to reinforce the tabs. I'll run a strap to join them together. I'm really happy with how that turned out. I was worried about that. Yeah. Now the middle piece should be relatively easy, touch wood. Yeah, you can see what I mean. I can just lift those tabs up to suit the angle. It also becomes a bit of a cowl stop. And then I just played with, to clean up this here, I'll make a patch. Bear in mind it has to be cut in half. Half will go with each panel. And also I've got a 1 inch overlap, sort of a no rivet zone, so I don't rivet the two panels together. But I'll just clean those up with a nice rounded, polished up bit of scrap metal, which will finish that off nicely. Once again, I don't want things touching because it can chafe and cause you dramas. I assume we're in rig. We can't go too far anyway. And that is looking good. A lot of work, a bit of stress, but just sort of work it out, think my way through it. I may still need a piece underneath. Where do you stop with this? I think it'll be alright. But yeah, that's the first part of the hump complete. Good thing is now I need to do another one for the other side. Alright guys, it's not even hump day. I've got the hump well underway. Looking good. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'll pop this one out. Enjoy, and we'll see you on the next one where we do exactly the same on the other side. Thanks for watching.